With just 3 games left in the regular season, there's major updates around the injury list for the Colorado Avalanche, and there is one piece of the puzzle that might be ready to rumble just in time for the Avs to make a deep run in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. We are going to break everything around all the latest injury, lineup, and other related topics around the Colorado Avalanche right here, right now on Avalanche Digest. Welcome to Avalanche Digest, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Robinson. Before we dive into today's video regarding injury updates for the Avs, I want to remind you to make sure that you are subscribed to Avs Digest here on Digest Media. Look at this stat right here. 64% of you tuning in and watching are not subscribed, to a mere 35% of you are subscribed who are tuning in and watching. So if you are not subscribed, exit out of this video right now, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you are fully locked in to the best place to get all your latest news and updates on the Colorado Avalanche exclusively right here on Avalanche Digest. Let's dive into the injury updates in the world of the Colorado Avalanche today as we look at the last 3 games of the season before the 2025 playoffs begin. We take a look here to start. The Avs play the Vancouver Canucks this evening, and Jared Bednar confirms that Marty Necas and Sam Girard are both slotted into the lineup and will play tonight. On the other hand, no Jonathan Drouin or Josh Manson. Drouin likely to play this weekend, Manson potentially not. Obviously, having Necas and Girard in for the Avs in the lineup tonight is a massive add. Necas, it goes without saying, he's given so much depth and so much value to this Avs lineup. He does so much for the power play, and he meshes so well with those top line players. And having him in the lineup for these last few games to try to scrape away as many points as possible before the playoffs begin in just over a week here is going to be crucial. So to have Marty Necas playing will be massive to try to get a few points over the Vancouver Canucks, the Los Angeles Kings, and the Anaheim Ducks. Those are the final 3 games of the season for the Avs, respectively. On the other side of things, no Drouin or Josh Manson. Jonathan Drouin is a super large asset to that second line, usually playing on the second line, and does a really good job generating scoring chances. He's a very electric offensive player, moves the puck very well, and most importantly, he knows how to get the puck on the net. He knows how to get it through between the pipes, past the goalie, and that is a huge thing to have. So having Drouin back in by the playoffs will be massive. It's been a massive conversation topic all season. It's just how much of a Band-Aid roster this Avs team is. It's been back and forth from having all these different players injured and unable to suit up and play. And so come playoff time, which is right around the corner here, ensuring that those players are ready to go is going to be very crucial for the Colorado Avalanche. So no Drouin and no Manson tonight. Josh Manson we're hoping to see back in the lineup as well. But one of the biggest alarming concerns and major updates in the roster injury world is MacKinnon will not be suiting up against the Vancouver Canucks tonight, and head coach Jared Bednar claims that he probably won't play this weekend against the LA Kings and potentially even the Anaheim Ducks. So there's a chance that we're seeing Nathan MacKinnon sit for the rest of the season and not suit up again in the regular season before the playoffs start. Now, I think that there's a good way of looking at this as well as a bad way of looking at this. Jared Bednar exclaimed in a press conference, same press conference as when he talked about MacKinnon's status tonight, that if the team was in a position where seeding implications were very important, their playoff spot wasn't locked in, or they were fighting very hard to get something super important like home ice, or to catch a team, in this case would be catching the Stars, he said that MacKinnon probably would play and that he would be able to suit up. On the other hand, he's experiencing some sort of a minor upper body injury, very minor, nothing that's going to hinder his performance long term. But it seems like the way Bednar put it was it's something that they're just being cautious about. They're letting him kind of rest and get back to his best form for hockey, especially with the playoffs right around the corner, because the Avs are kind of in a place where we've talked about it a lot here on Avs Digest, how the seeding is going to play a huge role. We've got Winnipeg and Dallas playing each other tonight, who hold those number 1 and number 2 spots right now. There isn't necessarily a lot that the Avs can do in terms of winning games to get points to move themselves around in the playoffs. It's kind of up to fate in the Central Division at this point, considering what's going to happen with Winnipeg and Dallas, because Dallas is still in a position where they're only 4 points back from Winnipeg. If they beat Winnipeg tonight, they're only 2 points back as long as it's a regulation win. And so that puts the Avs in kind of a place where they just kind of get to sit from the sidelines and watch how all this pans out. it's very likely that we're going to see the Avs play the Stars in the first round, with the Stars having home ice in that contest. But like we said, with the Blues in the Central Division as well, who are just an absolute wagon right now, potentially ending up in a playoff spot as well, there's a possibility that that Central Division look in the playoffs switches up in the last few regular season games here. But like I said, this is kind of something where the Avs can just play their game, maybe rest some of those high caliber players that they're going to need in the playoffs, and just see how everything pans out. Definitely interesting for MacKinnon. He has not missed a game since December 29th, 2022, so the season after the Stanley Cup Championship win, right before the calendar year turned to 2023, where the Avs that season would go on to lose to the Kraken in the the first round 7-game series in the playoffs that year. But MacKinnon has not missed a game in a very long time. And it's like I said a few minutes ago, Jared Bednar exclaimed he's dealing with something super minor. But it sounds like he'll be playing if the Avs were fighting for something to close out the regular season. But they aren't necessarily fighting for something. Obviously, they want the best possible implications for seeding. They want home ice if they can get it. They want to avoid the most daunting opponents if they can get it. But something that's interesting about that whole conversation is there's something to say about how every opponent is an interesting matchup, and there's something to say that you match up to a different opponent in all sorts of different ways. And so at this point, the Avs kind of just waiting things out and seeing what's going to happen with the seeding implications and such is pretty much the best possible option for the Colorado Avalanche looking ahead with the last 3 games of the season. Charlie Lindgren will also not play tonight. He sustained an upper body injury against the Golden Knights. The fourth line player he's been doing really well for the Avs. He's fit in really well, showing a lot of depth with the lineup. So not obviously a huge loss to not have Lindgren against Vancouver tonight, a hungry Vancouver team that is, who's trying to scrape away as many points as they can within the remainder of the season. So no Lindgren, a few interesting injuries looking into the rest of the season, and a few changes in the lineup. I think this is a cool opportunity for Jared Bednar, though, with some players out kind of from all the lines. You have Drouin and Manson, who are not playing, as well as Lindgren, and of course MacKinnon, basically the number 1C for the Avs. Jared Bednar gets to kind of play around with the lineup here and even test the waters as to what his playoff lineups would look like if, God forbid, any of these players ended up being injured and not able to suit up for an actual playoff contest. One more massive piece of news that will play a major piece in the puzzle for the Colorado Avalanche making a run in the playoffs this coming 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs is on Gabriel Landeskog. He is on a conditioning stint for 3 games with the Colorado Eagles. The Eagles have 5 regular season games left. He will not meet with the Eagles media on Thursday, but the plan is for him to suit up and play on Friday in Loveland, and they'll talk with him after the game. It's not confirmed yet, but it's very likely that will happen. The last few weeks with all the news around Gabriel Landeskog has been absolutely crazy. He hops on Spit and Chicklets. He talks with Wit and Biz about everything that's going on in the world of his injury and how he's been able to recover both emotionally and physically. And then all sorts of different documentaries and media coverage with the Colorado Avalanche come out about how he's improving and how he's really starting to find himself in a scenario where he can potentially even suit up. And then we're seeing him practicing with the Avs on the power play 1 in practice and moving quite swiftly and smoothly, I might add. He looks phenomenal out on the ice in that contact practice jersey. And now what seems like it could be the last step before the grand of just him coming back is getting to try to play with the Eagles and get some reps in with them. So it is massive to see Landy suiting up with the Colorado Eagles and potentially getting really, really beneficial reps that's going to get him NHL ready for a return in the playoffs. He's able to play 3 games with the Eagles, 3 of their 5 left, without messing with his LTIR status. It does get a little fishy after 3 games, but he's going to suit up with the Eagles and potentially try to get some reps and some opportunity in the AHL before he comes back up to the big leagues. And the most daunting quote and kind of topic surrounding this whole thing with Gabriel Landeskog is, keep in mind everything that I just listed, all the media attention, the documentary, suiting up in practice, and now going to the Eagles. Look at this insane quote that is so much implications from Jared Bednar. When he says he's ready to play, he's going to play. So Jared Bednar and the Avs front office and just the Avs coaching staff in general, the hockey operations, they are fully prepared and ready to put him on the ice and let him lace him up as soon as he is ready to go. Not necessarily sure how well he's going to play at the NHL level, considering the last game that he played was Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals where the Avs won the Cup in 2022. It's been a long time since Landy suited up in an NHL jersey. But just to have that C back on the ice, the captain, playing with his teammates, it is going to be a massive locker room implication, and it's going to get the fan base, the coaches, and most importantly, the players absolutely fired up to have him back and ready to go. And so all the pieces of this whole Landy puzzle that has been going on forever are finally starting to fall into place, and it's getting everyone so fired up for what the Avs are going to be able to do with the postseason coming up right around the corner. A lot of exciting things to come in the world of Colorado Avalanche with 3 games left in the regular season. They're going to do everything they can to get the best possible playoff seeding implications, and it's cup or bust in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs.